Arte again to bring you another GBU, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, the Underrated and the Overrated. This time from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, YSL. Basically, I've had a lot of these flankers, the L'Homme flankers, the L'Homme and its flankers. And I think probably YSL with the L'Homme has had most flankers than anything else out there to date. Alright, Fragcom, so a little bit of the background of the Yves Saint Laurent YSL house. It's a French fashion company, and the parent company is L'Oréal. Yves Saint Laurent is a French designer and tailor whose career began at the age of 17 when he served as an assistant to Christian Dior. And with Dior's death 4 years later, Laurent was named the head of the house of Dior at just 21 years of age. Still a young man when the Algerian War broke off, Laurent was drafted into the army in 1960 and lost his position at Dior. Military service and despair over the loss of his design position resulted in a hospital stay. After a brief period of recuperation, Laurent started his own fashion company and went to become one of the most influential fashion designers of the 60s and the 70s. Yves Saint Laurent remained active as a collection and main designer through the late 80s. After his retirement, a series of designers including Albert Elbaz, Tom Ford, and Stefano Pilati have produced collections for the brand. Yves Saint Laurent passed away in 2008. So some of the perfumes that have been staples and landmarks of this amazing house were Rive Gauche, 1970, Opium, 1977, Men's Coros, 1981, and Paris, 1983 for women. It's become modern classics, guys, in the perfume world and remain bestsellers to this day. The company continues to earn new fans with their contemporary releases such as Baby Doll 2000, Elle 2007, and La Nuit de l'Homme 2009, and all its flankers that we'll see here covered. So they have about 145 perfumes in their database. The earliest edition created in 1964 and the newest in 2015. They've worked with many renowned designers and perfumiers such as Jean-Claude Elena, Pierre Bourbon, Annick Manardo, Michel Girard, Dominique Ropion, Olivier Poge, just to name a few, guys. So this was the intro to the amazing house of YSL that we come to love as one of the best designer houses out there. Now we'll talk about each and every one of these compositions from left to right, and we'll do the GBUUO, Good, Bad, Ugly, Underrated, and Overrated from the house. Without any further ado, let's dive into the house of YSL, which is one of my favorite designer houses out there. So starting with this automatic Fouget from 1981. This is Coros, and this is actually a vintage bottle. This stuff is like, it'll grow hair on your chest, guys. This is really animalic. This is musky. It's got civet. I mean, this is something that's not that easy to wear, and it definitely has some time. It's definitely something that's traditional, and it's a piece that is very masculine, very manly, and I would say even a little bit mature. So if you don't like those type fragrances, definitely stay away from this. I wish I had all the other flankers from the house. The sport. I think there's a whole bunch of sports flankers and lighter flankers to this composition, but I have yet to find them. But I have this original here from 1981. This is a vintage bottle, I believe from the early 90s, and it's definitely potent stuff, and it's very hard for me to wear this. I don't wear this quite often at all. Next up we have Rive Gauche, which is, on the other hand, one that's very easy to wear, something that I really, really, truly enjoy and love. Rive Gauche is like this barbershop feel. This is a very aromatic, very green fragrance, beautiful star anise, geranium, some guaiac oud, vetiver, some patchouli. Beautiful fragrance. This was introduced, I believe, in 2003, but this is amazing. If you like Invasion Barbaret by MDCI, you're going to love this. I absolutely adore Rive Gauche. This makes a lot of my spring lists, and it's definitely one that I love to wear for work as well. And up next we have M7. M7 is a fragrance this is a tester, by the way. I had a few bottles of this. I sold a couple. I kept this. This is the original formulation from 2003. Actually 2002 I think this was released. This is getting harder and harder to come by. This was definitely ahead of its time. When Tom Ford was head of the creative director, he was the creative director, head of YSL at that point. He released this masterpiece, which was extremely ahead of its time. If you were to smell this back in 2002, when the mainstream stuff was aquatic, ozonic, fragrances, this definitely would twist and turn some noses. People would not want to wear this. It had oud, it had bergamot, vetiver, amber, musk. Very simple, yet extremely complex and very nicely put together, but extremely ahead of its time. People did not appreciate this as much as they appreciate it today. To me, it's a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece then, it's a masterpiece today. I absolutely love this. So this is M7. Up next is a flanker. This one's called Parfum Intense, YSL L'Homme Parfum Intense. This to me is criminally underrated, guys. Very nice fragrance from the house. I truly enjoy. This here is one of my fiancé's favorite on me. This one is an oriental woody fragrance. Beautiful, ambergris, pepper, neroli, some precious woods. It's very nicely done. Not a tremendous amount of notes, but it's a very, very nice fragrance. It's rather potent. It does very well on my skin. I love this in the fall. Definitely worth checking out. The next one up here is quite the opposite. This is a very nice fragrance, but it's extremely weak on my skin. If I spray this, I can spray like 9 to 10 sprays, and I'm only going to get 3 hours tops. This is L'Homme Gingembre, Cologne Gingembre. I do enjoy this in the fall and summer. It's very light, out of the shower, beautiful fragrance. Love the composition, but again, it's got that aquatic feel with the the ginger, the musk. So beautiful fragrance. This L'Homme Cologne Gingembre, very nice for spring and summer. But unfortunately, longevity, very, very poor. I cannot get more than like 3 to 4 hours with this. Sometimes even less if it's really warm out. So great smell, but does not perform well on my skin. Cologne Gingembre. Next up is another one from the L'Homme flankers, and it's one that I truly adore. This is L'Homme Libre. Beautiful. This has the blue stem, and I believe this is with the clear cap. I think this was the first formulation. I think they reformulated this and changed it a little bit. So this is like the most sought for one, I guess. L'Homme Libre is very nice. This is woody, spicy. I love this in the summertime. Late spring, summer. Has anise. It has bergamot, pepper, some nutmeg, vetiver, and patchouli. Just beautiful combination. Very nice. Easy to wear. Compliment getter like no other, guys. So definitely one of my favorites from the flankers. And the next up we have the predecessor, the number one, the pioneer of the L'Homme. This is L'Homme. This is the original one. Definitely got the big one. I had a couple bottles, 3.3, and I said, you know what, let me go with a 200 ml. It's just one that I really adore. This is a woody floral musk. Beautiful fragrance. You get that ginger, appley fill, with the spices, the black pepper, violet, some tonka bean, vetiver to dry down. Just a beautiful, beautiful, amazing compliment getter. One of the best from the house for sure. Next up is another one that's a great compliment getter. This is La Nuit de l'Homme, the Night of the Man. Beautiful fragrance. La Nuit is a great woody, spicy fragrance. Awesome for night out, for dates. Beautiful. Like I said, you're going to get amazing compliments with this. You get the cardamom up top with some lavender, some cedar, bergamot, coriander, and vetiver. Beautiful fragrance, guys. Beautiful. This is one of my favorite from the house. And that is why I got the Le Parfum. The Le Parfum is actually, it smells a little bit denser, a little bit deeper and opulent. More than La Nuit, the Toilette. The Le Parfum lasts longer on my skin, and I do get more compliments with this one. This is an Oriental Fougere. It's got more vanilla, dried fruits. infusion, which makes it a little bit more enjoyable in the cooler weather to me than the regular line Nuit Eau de Toilette. And then these two masterpieces here on the side, guys. The Opium Eau de Toilette is an unbelievable fragrance, guys. It's an Oriental spicy. Very nice. Another compliment getter. This one here was introduced in the 90s, I believe 95. You get an anise note, blackcurrant. You have this beautiful galanga flowery note. You have some resins with the total balsam. It's just a beautiful composition, guys. Great compliment getter. It's getting harder to find this, not as easy to find. This is, I think, an only 30 ml bottle, but I don't wear this much. I tend to just wear this in the fall and early winter, but it's very, very, very great compliment getter. And speaking of compliment, this here is definitely an amazing gem from the house. It's Opium EDP Eau de Parfum. This is very, very hard to find, guys. If you can find this, grab it, because this is opulency, elegancy, and sophistication in a bottle. It smells fantastic. This is an Oriental spicy, guys. Introduced in 95 as well. You have the same components on steroids as the EDT. This is just so beautiful. It just lasts a long time, 10 plus hours on my skin, and it's just a beautiful composition, guys. So these were the fragrances that I have from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. Alright, guys, I'm back to give you the good from the brand, guys. The good from the brand, it'll have to be this, L'Homme. L'Homme is definitely the good from the brand. The good from the brand because it's easy to wear, it's a compliment getter. You can't go wrong. You're going to smell great. You're going to get compliments. It's easy to wear, dumb reach. You can actually wear this all year round. This could be a signature scent. So L'Homme has to be the good from the Yves Saint Laurent line, in my opinion. I think it's one of the best releases, up to date, and definitely a staple in anyone's collection who loves to smell great. So L'Homme is a good. Stay tuned next for the bad. Okay, guys, the bad from the brand, I'm going to have to go with M7. Why this is the bad? Because it's a great fragrance, but unfortunately discontinued and very hard to find. And if you do find it, you're going to have to pay exorbitant amounts of money to have it in your collection. So that's a shame. So that is why I'm going to say this is the bad. The bad because it was discontinued, and even before it was discontinued, it was reformulated. This is out there with a sticker over here, like a brown, like the color of this bottle, but the bottle itself is clear. So that is why it's the bad, because it was reformulated and discontinued and very, very expensive to get. So this will be the bad. Stay tuned, guys, for the ugly. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, the ugly from the house, in my opinion, is definitely L'Homme Cologne Gingembre. The only reason why it's the ugly, for my opinion, is because it is a great smelling fragrance with extremely poor performance. Hence, despite the fact that it's a cologne concentration, I understand that, but I'd like to get at least 5 hours out of this, and it's even hard to get 3 sometimes. So, great smelling fragrance, but unfortunately performance is extremely poor on my skin, and there's a lot of flankers of the L'Homme that are very poor when it comes to performance. So for that, if you want to say this is a money grab or just something that's, not up to par of the L'Homme series, I definitely have to say that this is an ugly. Okay? Stay tuned, guys. I'll be right back with the underrated, the hidden gem, and an overrated from the brand. Be right back. Okay, guys, now with the underrated from the brand, guys, something that definitely deserves some attention. This has to be the one that I have to consider the underrated from the L'Homme line, guys. And it's none other than L'Homme Intense. Guys, this is good juice. This deserves some attention. If you haven't tried this, please do yourself a favor and do. I get amazing compliments and get very, very good performance out of this. This has to be the underrated from the brand. I was going to go with L'Homme Libre, which is also a great underrated from the brand, but this is actually amazing fragrance in the fall, in the winter, and we do get more cooler months here where I am in the East Coast. That is why I gave this the underrated. If I was somewhere where it's warmer, like Florida, or a place where it's hotter weather, I would definitely say L'Homme Libre is underrated. So these two are really the underrated from the brand. But because I'm in cooler weather, I'm saying that Intense is the most underrated from the house. Okay? Stay tuned next for my overrated from the brand. Be right back. Okay, guys, this to me is the overrated. I had to pick one. Don't get me wrong, I do love the composition. There are different options for this fragrance. If you don't want to spend the money that this fetches, you can definitely get something like, you could definitely get a composition called Avant-Garde by Lanvin, which will get you the same kind of vibe for a lot less money. So I had to pick one, so I go with La Nuit de l'Homme. This is overrated in the sense that a lot of people wear this. It's a cliche, many guys have this in their collection. It's a phenomenal juice, do not get me wrong, I love it, but I had to pick one for the overrated from the brand. So I'll go with L'Homme. There's a lot of options, like I said. Avant-Garde by Lanvin is an extremely good fragrance that smells very similar to this for a fraction of the price. You can get that for like $20-something, and this retails for, I think, close to $70. So that's it, guys. I'm going to put them all next to each other here so you can see them from the house of YSL. The good, L'Homme, okay. The bad, M7. The ugly, Cologne Gingembre. The most underrated, like I said, it is L'Homme Intense. If you are in the cooler weather, if you're somewhere where it's hot, definitely L'Homme Libre. Okay? And last but not least, the most overrated, La Nuit de l'Homme. These are all great fragrances, guys. Don't get me wrong. Just that I had to pick one for each category, and that is what I picked. So thank you so much, guys, for watching another GBU. Let me know what good, bad, ugly, underrated, and overrated segment you would like to see, from what company, what brand, what house. I'll be happy to look into it. I have a few other ones that I'm going to do from now until the end of the year, but I'm happy to hear your suggestions, your ideas, subscriber's choice. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more. I'll talk to you guys soon.